So the Roseanne Barr saga has been developing so fast. So let's start from the beginning. Yesterday morning, she posted a tweet, Muslim Brotherhood and Planet of the Apes had a baby, equals VJ, referring to former Obama advisor Valerie Jarrett. Now, at first, Roseanne defended the tweet, but then apologized. Then outrage grew, and ABC announced they were canceling the sitcom. When you first heard this, what did you think?
I was shocked.
Mm-hmm. It all happened very fast, too.
Shocked at what she said or shocked at her termination?
Well, she's talking about the termination, I think, right?
Yeah.
The termination was like, really? Wow.
Well, I think that first of all, I would like to say that what she said was blatantly, patently the definition of racism. Very black and white, not to, use a pun there. But I will say that for me, I have been so disheartened by what's acceptable in the world right now, what's acceptable in the White House. And it's refreshing to see someone take a stand and say, no, not at ABC, not at this company. Yeah. This is not acceptable rhetoric. And it's interesting that ABC holds a higher standard to their employees than apparently the White House does.
Yeah, well, and she was... also then said, I'm leaving Twitter, and then she was back. She was defending, then she was apologizing, then she was defending, then she was retweeting, and up till a few minutes ago before the show, she was still going. So I always say before you send anything out into social media, you should think, could my parent look at this and could my boss look at this? So I'm always surprised when someone that isn't young, that's my age or older...
What if they're dead?
That's very difficult to tweet from the grave. But when you put this out there, I'm always surprised at people that didn't grow up on this. Like, I didn't grow up on social media. There's a big responsibility. Our worst fear is that speech you give in front of an auditorium in your head, naked, and you're nervous. Why don't people treat this format with that same responsibility? You're not just sending it out to an auditorium. You're putting this out into the universe.
Because it's mostly anonymous. That's why people say whatever they want.
Because social media does depersonalize the folks that you're attacking. But I do think, Roseanne also tweeted, I stand up, I spent my whole life fighting racism, and I can't believe this is happening over one tweet. Well, this wasn't just one tweet for Roseanne. She has a history of tweeting things that are inappropriate. In fact, she compared Susan Rice, another black Obama official, to an ape in 2013. And the comparison of black women and black men to apes is an ages-old racist trope that has been used to demonize us, to dehumanize us. And I think when you cross that kind of societal norm, you must pay the consequence. And firing her was the right thing to do. I'm thrilled that ABC did it. But I'm saddened that she took jobs away from an entire cast of people, crew of people,
they were
and those are the consequences.
Can I say one thing, too? As the Republican on the show, I think we as conservatives have to stop jumping at every Scott Baio shiny ball that comes across us, because this shouldn't be about celebrity. It shouldn't be about who's going to make your, who has the biggest platform in one way or another. I also want to say that I liked Roseanne's show, I did, and I thought that it reflected a lot of people in middle America, and I don't want network television to stay away from reflecting, blue-collar people in the middle of the country, and I hope somebody who just isn't a crazy racist can make a show that's reflective of that as well.
And that's the thing that was shocking to me. That conservatives on Twitter were coming out and saying, oh, because a conservative says this, that's why she gets fired. When was racism a conservative value? Like, I don't understand why conservatives are jumping on this bandwagon. That is not the bandwagon for conservatives to jump on.
Well, go ahead.
I always defend comedians pretty much because we're under the gun a lot. We're trying to get a laugh mostly. We stick our foot in our mouths. I've done it many times. I've had to apologize many times. But I just felt like this went over the line. And when you're talking about racism, this is really a bad thing. This was an egregious offense.
Yeah.
Even though I still say we all make mistakes, mea culpa, it went over the line. So I can't defend it.
And here's what Valerie Jarrett said about Roseanne's tweet in an MSNBC town hall last night.
I think we have to turn it into a teaching moment. I'm fine. I'm worried about all the people out there who don't have a circle of friends and followers who come right to their defense. The person who's walking down the street minding their own business and they see somebody cling to their purse or want to cross the street. Or every black parent I know who has a boy who has to sit down and have a conversation, the talk, as we call it. And those, as you say, those ordinary examples of racism that happen every single day.
You think people will get that lesson, or is this going to be one more thing that is just compiled into the ether?
I hope they get the lesson.
I think this is a cultural moment in America, and why we're spending so much time on it. You have, as you say, from the top, these horrible things coming out of the president's mouth.
Yeah.
And you have a civil war going on in this country right now, even though it's not violent at all right now.
Can I tell you, it is interesting, though, because if you would have asked me a week ago, is there anything anyone can do or say or tweet at this point, I would have been like, it's fair game everywhere. I mean, we're in a realm of the universe I never thought, as after the death joke about my father. And it's just fascinating that, to use Mitt Romney's words, corporations are people. And here at ABC, it's not okay. And it's really refreshing, honestly.
I have to tip my dreads to them. I just think it's amazing. So in her Twitter rant, following the cancellation, she also retweeted a false picture of me. So here we go again. Here is the truth about the shirt I was wearing at the Women's March in New York. It very clearly says, and you thought I was a nasty woman before, buckle up, buttercup. Now, some bonehead photoshopped a horrific image on the shirt. And she retweeted this.
Yeah.
So this is what I'm going to say, Roseanne, that just because you were caught with your pants down, don't try to drag other people down with you. You understand? Don't do that. Because if there are times when, you got to suck it up because you stepped in dew. But
weren't you defending us all over the internet?
Well, last night I was talking to my husband, and he told me that there was this fake tweet that we knew was fake, and a tweet about you. And I get so angry because obviously it's fake and it's a load of crap. And also, this is not about being a conservative, okay? This is about you being a racist, and that's what happened. And I am a vociferous defender of the First Amendment and free speech. But I will say that this is not about speech. You can say anything you want, but we work for a corporation, and there are values at which we adhere in this corporation. And if you are no longer a part of that, then you are gone. But dragging you and you into this, we didn't do anything wrong today.
But it's easy. It's easy to do because it's red meat. But the bottom line is simply this. I didn't fake my shirt. Someone else faked my shirt. But that's your tweet. That tweet came from you. So that's yours. You did this to yourself. So now, Sonny, you have
some white powder sent to his house with a threatening letter. And, Louise Slaughter had a brick thrown into her storefront. Stupak is getting threats. People are putting coffins on Democrats' lawns. This kind of hate speech that's going on right now has to stop.
I wouldn't bring it up, except that it happened, 2 nights ago here. Yeah, okay. And 200 kids were bringing rocks and sticks to a speech of mine. And I've gotten white powder, and I've been attacked on my property. You don't hear conservatives whining about it all the time. A liberal gets one piece of hate mail, and suddenly Paul Krugman is blubbering on the op-ed page of the New York Times. That's why, by the way, the only thing responsible people can do, responsible people on air, responsible elected officials, is to try to give public figures some privacy. In a country of 300 million people, there are going to be some crazy people out there. And I know that it has become a passion of people on a different cable network to reveal the addresses of conservatives.
Well, we don't like, but that's the problem.
Property.
But that is the problem with hate speech. It begets other hate speech, and we can have.
No, but I'm saying they're going to be crazy people. You have responsible liberals, allegedly responsible adult liberals out there trying to get conservatives attacked.
Oh, come on!
This guy Francois.
Most of the hate speech is directed towards liberals, and you know it right now. You have a case maybe in the 60s. In the 60s, you have a case. Madness. That is, listen, and speaking of whining,
Joy,
Eric Cantor's been whining about how he got in trouble. Somebody had a bullet shot through his head or through his house, by the way.
Yeah,
he's whining too, so they whine on the right also.
You or Anthony Weiner could show up at the Republican National Convention. You could show up at the University of Mississippi. You could show up at Bob Jones University, and you wouldn't need a bodyguard. There is not a conservative in America who can go to a college campus in America without a bodyguard.
Listen.
Do not tell me that this is a bigger problem for liberals. It's not even equal.
It's a totally bigger
That's
problem
madness.
for liberals.
We just don't whine.
The fact that they're sending hate mail and threatening Bart Stupak is a big problem. But, you know, let me tell you something.
I'll put my hate mail up against his any day.
Okay, just FYI, I guess last night Glenn Beck, your friend Glenn Beck, that other nut job, he unveiled the I Hate Glenn Beck Club, and guess who's a member?
You?
Me. I'm so excited. This is like being on Nixon's enemies list.
Congratulations.
I'm so happy. You can't even imagine. But he skipped Whoopi, Al Gore. He skipped Stephen King. You know, he skipped a lot of people, but I'm so privileged to be on that list.
You got to put that next to your You got to put that next to your Costco club card.
Okay. And thanks. Always a pleasure.